Welcome to D&D Backstory. This is the origin of Chance the Rapper, Kenku Arcana Cleric.
How did I get wrapped up in this?
Thought the Kenku, his neon green beak scraping across rusted metal. He was in the back of a covered wagon, and every bump in the road flung him into the bars of a cage that could barely fit him. As his eyes adjusted to the darkness, he was able to make out his neighbors, a scarlet parrot in a cage labeled Parrot, some sort of human-eagle hybrid labeled Arakokra, a pair of tall yellow birds labeled piss flamingos, and a dog with wings magically fused to its back labeled Bird. The Kenku noticed a similar sign next to his own cage that read Toucan, as well as one at the back of the cart that read Exotic Birds. From the front of the wagon, the Kenku could hear the laughter of his escort captors as they wove fantasies of the riches they were destined to receive in exchange for their newly acquired goods. For some reason, all the Kenku could think about was the dog.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
The Kenku called out to the front of the wagon.
I do not believe you will have much luck selling this bird of yours, as it is nothing more than a common canine.
Eh?
It's a dog, not a bird.
The Kenku reiterated.
What did it say, Ernie? He said our bird's a dog. It's got wings, you friggin' idiot.
The dog barked. A third person, a muscular human male brandishing a wooden paddle, entered the back of the wagon and swung the paddle down at the Kenku. On the third swing, after bouncing off of the cage twice, the paddle made it through the bars and crashed into the Kenku's skull, knocking him out.
No barking.
A day prior, the Kenku had been living in the center of a small town made up of mostly humans. He had lived there for a little less than a year. At first, the humans rejected his presence based solely on his bird-like form, but over time, the majority of them warmed up to him, and he was even able to establish his very own shop. He sold games, toys, trinkets, and a variety of other pointless souvenirs. He also performed gift-wrapping services for his own wares or anything customers brought in. The Kenku infused magic into his gift-wrapping techniques that would cause packages to open on command, or sparkle when opened, or do whatever his imagination could dream up. His gift wrapping was in particularly high demand at this time of year, as the town was preparing to celebrate the festival of the god. During the festival, the people of this town offered gifts to their god with the hopes that the following year will be filled with blessings. The Kenku had only been living in town for less than a year, so he didn't know which god this festival was for, but business was booming, so he didn't care. On the eve of the festival, all of the townspeople gathered on a hill just outside of town to present gifts to their god. The Kenku had chosen to keep his shop open later than normal to account for the increased demand, so as the sun set, he was the only one left in town. After wrapping up a gift for his own divine donation, a bag of red and green marbles he wasn't able to sell, he decided that it was time to join the others at the festival. As he was closing shop, he was ambushed by the self-proclaimed exotic bird bandits. The bandits were tipped off by one of the townspeople, a patron of the Kenku's shop who deemed the bird-like race unsightly. In the back of the bandits' wagon, the Kenku woke up. Blood dripped down his beak from his earlier beating, and he felt as if he could feel his heartbeat through his head. He kicked himself for choosing to speak up about the dog. The Kenku thought of all his choices that went wrong. He chose to move from a village of his people to a village of humans that despised him. He chose to open up a shop there. He chose to keep the shop open late during the festival. He chose not to believe in the hatred of the humans. As the Kenku fully regained consciousness, he realized something was off. The wagon was no longer moving. There were no sounds coming from the front either. He wondered how long he'd been unconscious. The back doors of the wagon flung open, and the midday sun blinded the avian prisoners. The dog started barking.
Let's see what my sacrifices had to offer. Interesting choice of provisions.
Backlit by the sun was a half-elf scanning the insides of the wagon. The Kenku didn't recognize him as one of the bandits. The bandits were far more disheveled and grotesque. He wasn't sure if it was the half-elf or the sun that shined brighter. Their eyes met, and the half-elf smiled.
If birds were meant to be in a cage, they wouldn't have been given wings, now would they?
The half-elf snapped his fingers, and all the cage doors flew open. The Kenku followed all the other creatures as they ran out of the wagon towards freedom. He turned to his savior.
What happened to the bandits?
The half-elf smiled.
They chose to give themselves to God.
As the Kenku familiarized himself with his surroundings, he saw 3 bodies hanging from nooses on trees just off the other side of the road.
Who are you?
I am Liechtenstein, the one true God. Now I hear there's a festival in my name to attend to. I must be off.
As Liechtenstein turned away, the Kenku called out to him.
Wait! Please take this for saving me. If you are God, as you say you are, it belongs to you anyway.
The Kenku pulled out his wrapped bag of marbles. The wrapping paper itself had a pattern that swirled as if it was a marble in motion.
Such artistry. Sometimes the way in which a gift is given is more important than the gift itself. How about you come with me? You can be a wrapper that encases the gift of my gospel.
The Kenku was at a loss.
I don't think I can. Every decision I have ever made has led me toward nothing but misfortune, and I wouldn't want to bring that misfortune upon my savior.
Then let me make your decisions for you. Here, take back these marbles and put them into your pockets. Every time you're at a crossroads, pull out a marble. If it's red, you go left. If it's green, you go right. I will guide these marbles so they always lead you down the right path. Now pick a marble.
Isn't this just leaving my choices up to chance?
Chance is my indirect guidance. With faith, chance will never lead you astray. Now pick a marble. Green, you come with me. Red, you don't.
The Kenku reached into his sack and retrieved a marble. It was green.
Very well. I have decided that you will become one of my neo-apostles. You will be the gift wrapper of my divine providence.
The Kenku was confused, but seeing a person so enthusiastic about having him at their side was enough to get him on board.
Toucan.
Liechtenstein said, reading the sign on the Kenku's cage.
What's your name?
I was never given one. In my hometown, I was the only brightly colored Kenku around, so the others just referred to me in those terms.
That can't do. I will give you a name then. Something that fully encapsulates your purpose in this world. Are you ready for it?
The Kenku nodded. Then, for the first time, he heard his own name.
Chance, the Wrapper.
Thanks for watching. You can find download links for this character's sheets in the description below. And if you'd like any advice on how to play them or how to DM for them, check out the how-to video in the description. We've also got a Patreon where you can gain access to other fun D&D backstory content in the description. To find all of our other characters and how-to videos, head over to the channel by clicking the D&D backstory below.